We're in the
You're
game.
connected to the computer. We just record the whole episode, but nothing's there, so we just like sign language, like, "Hello, my name is Saz.
My name is.
What is your name?" Little for all our ALSL watchers out there. Oh, let me fix the.
Do you know sign language?
Yeah, no, I took a semester. I was gonna take a second semester this semester, but like it just didn't work on my schedule.
Just service to the world.
That's gonna be that'll be the intro for this week. So all our Spotify listeners are just like confused why there's like 30 seconds of silence.
Bay Area, stand up and let's be heard. No more sitting in the shadows. We're known for our winning ways, and not being the best, that just ain't for us. We're loud, we're proud, and we're unapologetic about it. So even when times are looking as dark as the black and blue we wear on our crest, we tell them that Goonies never say die. And when we're done shaking things up on the pitch, there's another shake coming. This is something that's been created by the people, for the people. This is everything and anything San Jose Earthquakes related. This is Aftershock. Vamos, San Jose.
Has he scored yet?
Because we had some high scoring. Cal has like 5.
He has 4, I think.
We've scored 10 goals this season. Wando has 2.
Alanis has 1 from the penalty.
I don't even remember that, but yeah. So
Espinoza has 1 or 2.
he has at least 1. So would that be 6 we're at right now? Trophies has 1 or 2.
He has 1, I think.
Because I think he got the preseason one, and then he got the
Yeah.
So he has 1.
I don't count the.
Yule has 1, or does he have 2?
He has 2. No, he has.
He has the volley, and then he has the header. So that'd be 2.
2. Yeah.
So that's 10. So he doesn't have 1. He has assists though. He has like 4 or 5 assists.
He has the rebound though.
Well, no, he has a couple of shots that like just went to Wando,
Yeah.
and then just ran their way.
Wando.
What's up to it's Aftershock. We back in the building, baby.
We
We back. Some technical issues and they're solved, and we're good to go.
We're ready to continue our rise to the top.
Yeah. Also, for the sake of my computer not blowing up, we've changed recording processes, so that's why it's a little more zoomed in than usual.
Yeah,
but maybe you don't hear that giant in the background. But
his computer was trying to take off.
Yeah. Elon Musk was actually asking me if he could borrow my computer and take it to Mars.
SpaceX, are you up?
We can talk about the game though. We came out so slow. Yeah. It's the thing that's been plaguing us, and I thought we finally got over it after the preseason game because I hadn't seen it so far. But slow starts killed us again. Didn't look like we wanted to be there. It looked like we're like, oh yeah, we're good. We got unlucky not to beat Seattle, and Portland's out of form right now, so we don't have to do it. It's MLS. Anything can happen, and Portland showed that. Boom, right back in it, and it just like they killed the game. We did. Yeah. I feel like we beat ourselves that game. I don't feel like Portland was outstanding. Like I don't feel like Portland's midfield and defense were terrible. Like I didn't really see much of them, but their front 3 were killing us all game, like lighting us up. Every time it got to the front 3, I felt like we were playing like prime Portland.
Yeah, they definitely outperformed us. And I think that the saving grace for us was in the last 15, 20 minutes. They kind of let us have the ball. Yeah. But in the minutes before that, throughout the first half, we just couldn't get the ball forward. We were just kind of knocking around the back aimlessly.
Yeah.
Didn't seem like we had a purpose with the ball.
Yeah. No, and it's what you said about the last 15 minutes. They just gave it to us, but it seems like our struggle this year is really that we come alive in the last 15 minutes and it takes so long for us to warm up. Like, I don't know if we need to play a game before, or if we need to have some better stadium music or do sprints before, but it takes forever to wake up. Actually, I looked up this stat for our project we're working on Tuesday, but
big time.
Yeah. So we've scored 10 goals this season. How many of those do you think have come in the last 15 minutes of the 10 we've scored?
Well, Wando has 2 at least. I'll say probably like 4.
We have 5 goals.
5
so
in half the last of our goals, 15 minutes.
Half of our goals have had to come from the last 15 minutes. So it takes us a while to wake up. And
yeah, I mean,
we had 2 comeback games, and we had I would say the rest of the goals probably came from just we were already dominating and got a couple, but still.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting stat because I mean if you want to be a dominant team, you have to control the game and get out ahead early.
Yeah.
It's okay to come back from behind to win games or nick one at the end, but if we really want to solidify our place in the standings, we have to be more dominant in
Yeah,
the
but
early
like
part.
the thing that's killing me is that if we're having a good game, it takes 20 minutes to warm up. If it's an okay game, it takes us the first half to warm up, and if it's a bad game, it takes us 60 minutes minimum to warm up.
Well, yeah, they scored on us in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's got to be like the third time or like
Yeah.
I mean, even the Dallas game that we ended up winning, like they almost got like 3 chances off the bat. JT had the error, remember, and he made the big save like right after. Yeah,
It's so lucky.
like, and then set pieces this game, like we got what was it like 17 and scored on none of them. Like
yeah,
I can't even really. We had maybe like 2-3 real chances, and like even in the Seattle game for 6 minutes they didn't even have a keeper, and we weren't scoring off set pieces. So I don't know what we're thinking. And okay, so Jacob was at the game, and I had to watch it on TV, and the game was a little bit ahead. So Jacob sends me text. Kikanovich is coming on because we were both really excited and we wanted to see him. And I'm like, oh, okay, no way. And then 10 seconds later, I see it on TV, and I was complaining how we were both texting like, we're not using the middle. We're not using the middle. Like every single time, all we're doing is crossing the ball to no one. We then, I give Almeida credit. Like this is a smart decision. If you notice that our only form of attack has been crossing, let's sub in the 6'4" guy,
especially in the last few minutes of the game.
Yeah. Let's sub in the 6'4" guy, and let's sub who's young and athletic, and then let's also sub in Wando, who's made a career off crosses.
Yeah,
and then suddenly everyone on the pitch was like, you know what? I don't think crossing is the move, guys. And we proceed, but with like 5 minutes left, we started crossing in, and we got like 6 chances in the span of like 2 or 3 minutes.
Kikanovich almost had that header, and
you had 2 or 3 that were solid.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
Like, yeah. We refused to use the midfielders. And then everything came from our back line. Literally, our back line was it was our offense and defense. I didn't see Cal. I would see Yule and Remedy. Like if they went to go collect the ball, they would have a nice pass. But once it left our final third, they didn't do it. I didn't see Fierro or Espinoza at all. It literally was Abicasas and Marie all game.
Yeah, it was literally. This is how our attack looked. It was just wide. There was no middle. It was wide.
And then it was pass the ball out to one of the fullbacks. Hope they create something. If they don't, they go bombing up the wing, and we play them a long ball, and then they'll create something. And that's all our attack was all game.
It was tough to watch because we had all this possession and we weren't really doing anything with it. We were just crossing, and so there's a time and a place for crossing. We can't rely on it though. Can't rely on it.
And change up the attack. If that's the game plan, I respect the game plan, but change it up, otherwise it becomes predictable. That was my complaint with Shea. Like he was a great sub for the first 5 minutes, and then he kept doing the same move, and then he wasn't effective anymore.
Yeah,
and it's just it's frustrating. And then defensively, like we look so scattered, and then we weren't following our markers. I mean, Abicasas, like he was doing great, but on all the switches, he lost his man every time. Flo lost his man a couple times. Just like every time, I feel like we were losing someone, and we've been a lot better with it this year.
Yeah, I agree.
It was just a bad game. Like we really beat ourselves. We look bad. I mean, given it was a 3-day spell, and we're playing 2 of the top teams, not only in our little small conference, but in the league. Like they compete for it every year. Like they've probably I don't know what the stat is, but those 2 have probably been in the final. It's probably been one of those 2
Seattle's
teams.
Been in it forever, and I mean, I was talking about it with you before the podcast, and when we went into this week, we were saying, okay, this is going to be the first real test, right? These 2 games, and I think it reminded us, okay, maybe our position on the table right now in second is a little inflated. Obviously, we're down to 5th right now, you said, but it was tough to see us not score any goals and also just kind of get outperformed.
Yeah, I will say I thought the Seattle loss was a good loss in the sense of the goal was silly, but it showed that with a little bit of work and we won't talk too much about Seattle because I did the episode on my own, but missed you, by the way.
Yeah, sorry.
I didn't miss you critiquing my reviews, but anyways, but with Seattle, it was really, it showed if we just clean up a couple things, we can fight with the top dogs and we just get a little bit sharper. This showed we look poor, we look like this and that, but I think overall, if I were to take everything into consideration, Because one of the fan questions last week was from Chris actually, and do we have what it takes to make it just to the final? And I said if the playoffs were today, we'd have to get really lucky seeding. If we continue to improve, I think we're like a strong rise of now, like a strong B team, but like could be a very weak A plus team, like A minus team. And I think we have the ability. It's just being sharp and not making the silly mistakes.
I mean, I guess I don't know if I would go as far to say like a week A team. I think we're just a decent team. You know, we've definitely improved a lot
Over the
from the
2 or
last
3
year,
years, yeah.
couple seasons. But I mean, like I said, we've got to be a little bit better against the top teams.
Yeah. I guess we can go into player ratings now.
I
Jacob hasn't
can't
seen
wait
these.
for
Jacob
this.
was not happy with was not happy with the players to say the least.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. I mean,
Yeah, it was very frustrating. This was I don't want to say a classic Quakes performance, but this was give me flashbacks to last year.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with JT. 6.4. He was unlucky to be in the position to be scored on for the first goal. He had a big save early in the second half with a good reaction to an awkward situation to keep us in the game. Yeah, I'll be honest. There was a few moments where we should have conceded more. Like, we got kind of lucky, and I mean, he didn't really make too many errors, right?
He didn't get many chances the last 2 games. To be fair to him,
yeah, like you said, the first goal. I mean, there's not much.
I blame the center backs for that one.
Yeah, you can't really do too much about that. And then the second one, it's like it was coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't really make any like foolish errors or anything like that. So just an average performance. Honestly.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate goalkeeper day where you only get one chance and it's a 1-on-1.
Yeah. All right, then Marie, 6.8 out of 10. Looking comfortable and looked like the staple left back in this game. Did a good job of good defensive presence, but also getting involved in an attack. Yeah, I talked about with you earlier today. I mean, I thought he was one of our better players too.
Agreed.
I think that he didn't really
happy with him because I hated him last year.
Yeah, didn't make too many mistakes, and I think he looked good, right?
He's looking more and more comfortable, which I really like, and that's why I kind of want to give him game time, just so he gets more comfortable in those positions. And I can already see you're so happy with the next rating, but yeah, no, I was really happy with him, and like I wasn't too impressed with Lopez. I know he's been on and off with injury, so I'm fine with Lopez or Marie being there, and I think Marie adds a lot to our offense. So I was genuinely happy with him in this game.
Yeah, I think it's good depth. I was just looking ahead to our next 2 ratings, and he gave our 2 center backs equal ratings, right? So he's referring to Alanis and Yunworth. So basically, he just let me just summarize it for you guys. 6.4 out of 10, and he basically said they weren't connected on their first goal, and then Alani specifically, he did okay, but he would have liked to see him connect better overall with the back line. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying not to be biased against Yunworth with my previous prejudice, but Yunworth, he's just not on the same level as Alanis, to put it nicely. And
yeah, agreed. Yeah.
I think that overall, even though Alanis was coming off of the injury, I thought he looked stronger. I thought he made a couple clutch tackles on breakaways that Yunworth would have been paced. 100%. So
so if you go to aftershock.club, you can read all my articles and you can read more in depth of this. But I would say they both had a lot of faults, but they had some strong parts to their game. I think Flo does a better job of working as a back four and being connected and being a part of a back four. I would say Alanis, that's his one struggle right now, is remembering that there's 3 other people he has to connect with and help move along and shift along with. He does a great job when it's one-on-one, like you said, of stopping him, and anything that comes his way, he does a great job of stopping. But when it comes to having to shift over to make up for another teammate's positioning, he's a little bit slow or doesn't really read it or expects his teammates to win it, so he's not ready. On the goal, I think 3 people are at fault. I forget whether it was Remedy or Yule that first off gave away the ball. And then it was poor by Yunworth to give away the inside channel. He wasn't goal side.
It was Yunworth's fault on the first goal.
Well, I blame Alanis a little bit more.
No, it was in the box on the right side. How was Alani supposed to cover that?
No, so Flo starts to go up, and Flo should have forced him more wide. So bad by him to get beat. But Alanis should see that his other center back is stepping, and he should be shifted over in that area to cover that area.
You can't make up that ground that fast.
No, but I'm saying he should have shifted over already. He shouldn't have waited for the pass.
You can't bank on that because then he leaves the others.
Yeah, and then that's why the left back tucks in then.
You're acting like it happens instantly. It doesn't happen.
They should have on defense. You got to collapse in, and on offense you got to open up. It's simple.
Yeah, you're being a little unrealistic.
Well, no, that's why I don't. That's why I'm saying his pairing isn't good. Like you, as a back line, you have to talk to each other. Like whenever you're fine, like whenever I played, because I played center back. Like whenever you always talk to the other one, shift, cover, do this, that. They have to talk to each other.
Okay, but let me just point out, every single time we talk about this, usually you say, yeah, Youngworth was down his side. I would like to see the percentage of our goals that are down Youngworth's side.
Yeah, well, that also comes down to
I would say 90% of our goals are down Youngworth's side. And I know that you were about to say Tommy Thompson, but Avi Costas played the whole game.
Yeah, no, that comes down to Thompson and Espinoza as well, who get caught up high.
I'm sorry. Espinoza is our creator. But...
No, I know, but Flo is definitely at fault, but I'm saying that I blame Alanis, Flo, and Remedy or Yule are blamed for this. But I'm saying, as a center back, I want to see more from both the center backs.
I agree.
That's why I give them the same rating.
Yeah, but that was wrong. And then Youngworth should be lower than Alanis in that game. Okay, we'll move on to Abicostas. Are you serious? 6.7 out of 10? Is that why you were cracking up?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I thought he was probably the worst player on the pitch for us.
I don't think so. I thought he was one of our best.
No, he had great positioning, and it did not matter where the possession was on the pitch. It felt like he was in the correct position on the right wing. Lost defenders on switches that were crossed in, and that led to the second goal. Okay, so I was on the side where we were attacking in the second half, and he was on the side closest to me. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how many terrible crosses he put in.
I will say his crosses, I would say there's 3 to 5 I can remember off the top of my head that just went haywire.
Horrible. And also, he didn't really look to play through the middle at all. The same thing, just going around the back. Didn't really look threatening. I
blame Rios a little bit for that, but yeah.
I just don't think he was one of our good players.
I liked it because I feel like he was an outlet. He was just always in the right spot. And yeah, the crosses weren't on today, but I feel like other than the switch and the goal that got scored on, his positioning defensively was incredible, and he really shut down that side.
I guess so. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Their forwards were good.
Yeah.
Okay, move on to Remedy. 6.5 out of 10. He wasn't a focal point of the offense and only really got to see him in our defensive third with some flashes here and there. Not as sharp as tonight, but he was working hard to try and make up for it. Once he was moved to center back, he seemed a little lost, but the Quakes were going for an all-out attack. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about that too much when he got moved to center back because, I mean, you understand we were just trying to push for the win.
Right? And he was playing everywhere. Yeah, he put in a shift tonight.
Yeah, but, I mean, also, we can mention this a little bit now, but same thing with Yule. Just... they weren't really, they were involved, but they weren't doing anything.
If it was the final third, they came to collect the ball, and then they would try to play a long ball, and they got 1 or 2 out to the wing, but, after it left our final third, you did not see him.
We didn't play through the middle at all. It was literally just out to the wide and cross it. It just wasn't...
And we'll get to that, but, Rios was a part of that as well.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
I don't think Rios played bad, but the way he was playing affected that.
I don't even think we looked for him or Cowell through the middle at all. Okay, then Yule gave him 6.4 out of 10. Pretty much... similar to what you said for Remedy, and you said he had some good defensive third moments. Could have seen more of him in the build-up, but yeah, pretty much everything didn't have to go out wide. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then Espinosa, 6.3 out of 10. I mean, you just said that. Yeah, I didn't see much of him. I think that I totally agree with that. This season, the last couple games at least, it's been a little bit of a question mark for him. Hopefully he can get more involved soon because we know that, he really carried the team last season.
Yeah, for the last couple. Yeah.
So hopefully he can get back to his best because, when he does have his moments, they're great moments.
And I've been saying for a while, I think the loss of Vaco is affecting that because now teams know, I just have to cover him because they don't care about covering him.
Literally, you don't even have to mark Fierro.
Yeah. When Vaco is there, it's okay. On this side, I have to watch out for the pacey guy with good dribbling, and this guy I have to watch out for the crafty guy with good dribbling. And they had to split up in the defense, which then allowed Eriksson to pick up the ball and it flowed, and that was good, balance throughout the team. Yeah. And now it's a little more unbalanced.
Yeah,
because Fierro's more defense. He's gotten better a lot better at defense. But it doesn't help us offensively.
I don't want him there. Okay.
Yeah. We need
I don't want him.
And definitely not trophies that way. God, that was
the worst. Okay, then we'll move on to Andy Rios. 6.4 out of 10. Good job to be a target and found him early on, but we did not see him receive the ball too much in the midfield. Saw him making runs through the attack that helped us. recurring theme for our midfield because he started at like the number 10 position.
Yeah.
He didn't get on the ball that much at all. We weren't looking for him.
I don't once remember him getting the ball in the midfield, but I think what he did early on that was good is because Cal kind of likes to drift left wide, maybe to cover Fierro. But he was like a target striker for us. Like he was just finding those late runs and those late pockets. And I think that was really helping us.
Yeah, he had a couple good times when he did receive the ball. For once, it was crazy. They played it to him, and then he turned and played it out wide, and I was like, holy cow, that was a good play, Rios. But yeah, all right, then we move on to Fierro, 6 out of 10. I mean, that's generous. Okay. Didn't see much of him or Espinoza early on, as it seemed the fullbacks were the outlet for the majority of the chances. I mean, he pretty much encapsulated everything that happened with Fierro's performance. I mean, he literally didn't do much. I will say he dived a few times.
Yeah. And the Oscar goes too. Yeah.
Seriously, oh my gosh. I was happy he was winning us some fouls, but at the same time, I was about.
He won us a penalty.
I was about to go on there. Fierro, I swear.
He won us the penalty. I think he was shooting. I don't even think it was a cross. If I'm completely
probably. Our crosses and our shots this last game
were the same thing. They were the same. They were interchangeable. You
where
don't know.
Where were they going?
I don't know which was which, but like
our shots looked like us at like the local field. It was terrible.
I think you owe us a little more credit.
maybe we're better than that.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. Then we move on to Cal, 6.4 out of 10. Okay. Really didn't see too much of him for a majority of the game and seemed disconnected from the offense in the first half. Had a good run at the end of the first to win a free kick and a good switch in the second half that led to a penalty to us. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing he did. Like, it's the same thing. He wasn't involved.
You didn't see him. The few times he did, though, were really good. Again, free kick at the end of the half.
Yeah.
Switch that led to the penalty. And then at the end, a couple things. But yeah, it just looked it looked like the first game where the runs on defense were disconnected. Offensively just wasn't there, held it up a bit much. Like
I do remember though that they had that one center back, their right center back. He was a strong center back, and he was every time there was an aerial.
The thing is, Cal was floating left.
He was on that guy's side, and that guy was a strong defender. I saw him win some good headers over Cal, and I mean it was just a rough night. Okay, I'll move on to Wander. You gave him the 6.3.
Yeah, I almost get.
How?
It was okay. It was at like a -7 after the penalty miss, and then I calmed down a little bit and changed it. Actually, read it, and then we'll get to that.
Great passion, which led to a yellow during halftime. That was funny. I was so confused how we got a yellow.
I just halfway through the announcement, like, by the way, in case you guys didn't know, Wondolowski is on a yellow card right now because
that was
conversation during
that was ridiculous. Okay, and then he should have put away the penalty, but it was a good save. I mean,
it was a bad penalty. It was a good placement, but so slow.
Yeah. Okay. Spent a lot of time in the midfield, which is the last place you want Wando. I completely agree. So that's a lot of negatives. I'm kind of
the last 5 or 10 minutes when we were kind of just crossing anything in. I think it was mostly Benji, but I thought he was getting some good chances and making some chances, so that bumped him up a little.
I still think that's generous. Okay, we'll move through the subs quick, but okay, then we go on to Selena.
The subs were dreadful, by the way. Actually, let me talk about that real quick. I really like. If I could give Almeida a rating, I appreciate that he's doing subs now, and he did them early in the 60th, late 50th minute, and I like that he was daring. Like it wasn't just the same old. Let's get the wings.
Yeah, I was happy he brought on,
and he brought some new faces. And that's what we talked about or at least I talked about last week. I want some new. I want rotation with the 3 people. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So then we move on.
Oh wait, actually. To Wando, Jacob sent me. I'm gonna insert the clip right here. Spotify, you can just listen. Jacob sent me a clip because he was at the game of his live reaction to Wando's miss.
I was filming it, and
woo, that's a good. And we'll just put it in here.
Wando, I swear! Oh my god!
And that was a good laugh.
Yeah, it was.
Here, mark that time down. So I know
it was absolutely ridiculous. I was so mad.
Oh man, yeah. Jacob was real happy with Wando.
It was a shock to me that you gave him above a 4, but okay, we move on. Selena, 6.5 out of 10. Only got a few chances, but it seems every time he got the ball across or chance was coming in. Okay, yeah. I mean, Salinas, he looked like he was threatening. For us, at least,
it was good the first 7 minutes, and then he did the same thing 5 times in a row, and then it was useless again.
Yeah, we needed Espinoza and Fierro to do that though throughout the
You're
whole
asking
game.
a lot of Fierro.
I know,
Yeah.
but we need more players to take chances like that.
And now one of my favorite players with one of the worst performances I've seen.
Yeah, Chofis was brought in to have more offensive opportunities, but was put to a wide role, which limited him. Yeah, I don't really understand how he was put out to the right wing.
The thing that was frustrating is I can see the idea behind Almeida, but I think Chofis would have served better if we weren't in their half the whole time. Like if it was a back and forth game or we were having a lot of pressure and you had him start a little bit more wide and that way he could come to collect the ball a little bit more. I think that would have helped. But he was starting kind of inwards and then would make outward runs. But also it was Mourinho time for them. They were parking the bus. So he didn't have like space or anything to like create with. So I didn't really ever see him get on the ball. And when it was like because he was winning a defensive ball because we had all the pressure there. So
yeah, I don't know. Even when he got on the ball, though,
it was bad.
He put in a couple poor crosses and lost the ball. Like it was just not good.
Yeah.
Okay, then Kikanovic, 6.2 out of 10. First of all, I'll just say this: I was happy he came on.
Yeah, so was I. I was shocked. I was really.
Yeah.
I was happy with some things. I was let down with some others.
Yeah. Okay, so he was a presence immediately, but missed position for the first 5 or so minutes. Once he moved to striker, he kind of fell off. I mean,
he's not a right winger. He's a striker.
Definitely. That was so strange.
He's so late. I like the idea because he's fast, but he is so lazy and just like the 6'4", just use his height.
Yeah, he had a couple good moments defensively, actually, I thought. But yeah, when we finally started to put in crosses, he looked okay.
Yeah, and what I actually do one more. And then we'll get to the subs.
Okay. Yeah, and then the last player,
Ska.
Just a ruthless night. I felt bad. Okay, 6.1 out of 10. That is generous. Came in with energy, but touch and decision making seemed to be below standard. Okay, I'll just say this. I mean, at least he had a couple good defensive plays, but I mean, just losing the ball carelessly. I think he was just really nervous, right?
Yeah.
I always feel bad when that happens because it was pretty obvious what was happening. A couple slips here and there. It's just the worst feeling when you come on as a sub.
And you're trying to make an impact.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure he'll get another chance soon because he needs that. He can't just having that in the back of your mind.
I liked him. Tough. This wasn't the game to throw him in. For me, he looked like a USL Jackson Mule. I like the energy, a lot of good off-ball movement, and there were some promising things from him. But again, the touch was poor. And then what I didn't like, and it was coming a lot from him, is I don't know why our team was just swinging back and forth. Like again, crosses all game. As soon as we get the good cross players in, stop crossing. And then what was frustrating is it looked like we were waiting for the perfect opportunity. Refused to go to the left side, but waiting for the perfect opportunity. And then he, in particular, would get a little impatient, and then they would try forcing a ball to Kikanovic, I felt, a lot of the time. And then it's 1v3, 1v4. Every time and just give away position, waste 3 more minutes trying to set up another one.
Yeah, I mean, just overall, not a great performance from the Quakes. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah, I think we beat ourselves. Like it's tough because we had a world-class keeper performance last week from Fry. I thought he was outstanding, and then for the final 6 minutes they didn't even have a keeper, and we didn't capitalize on that. And then this was a USL like backup keeper. I don't know if you heard the story.
Yeah,
because you were at the stadium, but yeah, like all their keepers were injured, so they had to call their USL keeper. And then he didn't look great. I'm gonna be honest. Like
he didn't even have to do anything.
Espinoza shot from like 40 yards out from the side on the free kick, and just like it looked shaky every time. Like I wish we would have tested him some more. And then by the time we were like taking shots, everything was going up and over, especially Cal. Like
yeah. All right. Well, next week we play Sporting Kansas City, and I don't know if you realize this, but we have after this last home game against Sporting, we have like a 4-game away run. Yeah, it's crazy. We go to Austin, and then we go to Florida. I forget where else, but yeah, it's gonna be a tough.
It's a tough schedule. It is a tough schedule. Like I said before, these 2 games to Jacob, like off camera, like there's a good chance we might go on like a 17-game lose streak. Like it is a very, very tough schedule.
Yeah, we need to bounce back for sure.
Yeah. I think, God, I want to get a win to make up for those points. But Sporting is so good, I would be okay with a tie. But we need to go. We need the win.
Yeah, especially at home again. I mean, it's our last home game before we go away, like I said, and I think we need some goals for sure. Goals.
If we do lose, like a 2-1 loss, but like I can't afford another loss. Like
I don't want to score 0 goals again. That'd be 3 in a row.
Well, I don't want it the 3rd season in a row of like after a couple games, we go on this giant losing streak, and then we have to win 1,000 games just to get like the 8th seed.
Yeah.
Like, so we dropped a bit, but let's stay in contention of being between like 2 and 7.
Yeah. We mentioned that at the beginning of this season. We didn't want him to go on these huge dry spells. We want some sort of consistency.
All right, we're gonna move on to lineups we want to see, and in honor of Almeida kind of getting a little wild with the subs and ideas, we decided we wanted to go a little more wild with our subs, and I was I just want to try something weird, but the more I thought about it, I actually really liked the lineup I made, and we ended up making very similar formations. But
are you gonna start with mine?
Yeah, we'll start with yours.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just bring this up. So both of us, we decided to go 3 at the back.
Yeah.
But I think that it could be interesting. So across, obviously JT first of all.
We have a 3-5-2.
3-5-2.
Yeah.
And I had Beeson at the left center back, Alanis as the central center back, and then Luciano at the right center back. No Flo. I'm sorry, Flo. But I just wanted to see how we could potentially line up under a 3-back, right? And I think those are our 3 most solid defensive players right now.
Okay.
And then we move into the middle 3.
You have 2 holding midfielders.
Yeah. So basically right ahead of them is Chofis. But then we have Remedy and Ewell, those 2 holding mids. I think that's self-explanatory. I wonder if Jutson's going to get a start soon. Who knows?
He didn't even get subbed on.
I know.
That's another thing I want to say. I wish Tommy would have got subbed on.
I agree.
I think he's fit enough to do it. I was talking about when I'm on squad rotation, I didn't want Tommy to be rotated because he's the most fit player.
I was extremely surprised Luciano stayed on the whole game.
I thought Tommy would have been great to sub on the wing.
Yeah,
not even left or right back, just like a winger.
Yeah, because Luciano, he was getting the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And I think
that would have been great to see Tommy.
I think Thompson could have been good in that position.
Yeah.
So then
I would have put Thompson where Chofis went in.
Yeah. So then hence why I actually in the 3 so I have the left mid and the right mid. I have Espinoza in at the left mid, and then I have Thompson in at the right mid. I just want to see that up and down that left and right hand flanks. Sorry, no Fierro. I want some more offensive threats.
You don't have Rios either.
Yeah, no Rios. I'll bring him on as a sub. But yeah,
does Fierro come on as a sub for you?
No, maybe he does. He's actually important, just not my favorite. And then our 2 up top, we have Cowell and Kikanovic. I would like to see more of Kikanovic. I don't think he'll start for another couple games. I think he'll get some more subs. I don't think you could start him ahead of Wando or anything like that just yet. When we do give Cowell a rest, because Cowell's not going to start every game for the whole rest of the season, right?
No, I think he might.
He probably should if he's healthy, because he can actually do something sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike, I don't know. And then it's Cowell and Kikanovic up top. Like I said, just hopefully they can get involved at some point together. Move on to yours.
Yeah, no, we both had great minds think alike, right? Had very similar lineups. While I just pull mine up. Mine's also a 3-5-2, but it's shaped a little bit differently. And we'll describe that for Spotifyers. Not that anyone even listens anymore.
Tons of listeners.
Yeah. So I also went with a 3-5-2. I got JT in goal. Easy. I got Alanis on the left for center backs, the left center back. And then I have Youngworth as the center back, and I have Beeson as the right center back. And usually I like to have the most fit and the fastest of the 3 center backs be the center one so he can cover. And that would have been Beeson, but I want a little more experience. So what I decided is, again, this is just like hypothetical. It's never going to happen. But if we become the Quakes managers tomorrow, this is my thought process. I'd want Youngworth because he likes to step a little bit higher. He can step a little bit more, and then that could let Beeson and Alanis drop a little bit more and cover that space. So it's a little bit reverse of what you're usually used to. And then in front of them, I have Judson sitting as the holding mid. So I think there's going to be a bit of a gap between the defensive line and the midfield line, and then their attacking line and their midfield line. So I'd want Judson to kind of just sit in that pocket and just like win balls, win 50-50s, and challenge stuff or delay for our team. And then sitting a little bit deeper, lower than the 2 center mids I have, but higher than the back 3, I have the wing backs. On the left side, I actually have Marie. I think he's been doing great. Lopez has an injury going on and off, and I think Marie's been playing well, reward him. And I think Marie adds a little bit more offensive flair for us. than Lopez. Lopez, I think, is a little more consistent, but it's a lot of just cross, simple stuff. I think
Yeah.
Marie gives us a little bit more, again, flair, and I think that's in a 3-5-2. I think you need that. And then Thompson, I think this is a great formation for him because now that right side doesn't get as exposed when you have the three, and it kind of leaves that space anyways. And this will help us with long balls, which I feel like have been killing us, and counters if we position it right. And then this will also help us on the counter. And then Thompson just going up and down the wings will perfectly suit him. And then for those aren't listening, I have Yule and Remedy as the two center mids, but I have them a little spaced out. I have Remedy like kind of a little bit centered, like they're on the right and left, and Remedy's on the right, but he's kind of center mid. And I have Jackson a little bit more of an attacking role. So I'm hoping Remedy can be more of a box to box, and then Yule can get a little bit more offensive duty. And I think this suits our style of play because we're not playing through the middle much, anyways. So as much as I love trophies, we're not using them. So if we're just going to play down the wings, use something where we can expose our wingers, our pace, and really just send it long. And then this lets the midfielders just connect the pieces. And then up top for the two, I have Cal and Espinoza. I have Cal on the left because he kind of likes to float left anyways, and then Espinoza is on the right. I think this will suit them because they have pace to burn, and then Thompson and Marie are pretty quick too. Not as fast as me, of course, but but they're quick. So I think this will really help us. And then if we need to, we can go to like a 5-4-1, or just like this, and then stops the long balls that we've been dealing with, and this can help us with our quick counters, which has been our best attack all year. So this is something I'd actually like to explore. Is it going to happen? Of course, never. But yeah. I think it's a cool option.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what we'll come out with against Sporting? I think we'll probably see some changes, hopefully. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. I kind of want to go back to now that we're gonna have a week off, the strong lineup again. It's gonna be a tough team, so I want a little bit more defensive presence. But rotate players, and I appreciate Almeida. He plays the players that are playing hard, and he gives people chances. So I'm gonna trust in him this week. Whatever he makes, I'll back it.
Yeah, hopefully we can get some goals. That's what I'm hoping for.
All right, we're gonna go to fan questions. And I don't have this one pulled up, but Jacob, you actually had a fan question from someone I think you wanted to give a little shout out to.
Oh, yeah. So I went with my dad to the game, right?
Yeah.
And he had a very positive question. He said, who was the biggest disappointment last night? You can go first.
Disappointment. Okay. I'm going to say Chofis. Because the word disappointment means I had higher standards for them.
Yeah,
so he disappointed me the most. I get he was in a weird position and it was a sub and it was a really bad time to get subbed on, but I was most let down by him because I expected more.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. That's some good reasoning. The one player I'll say for me, and I mean, I kind of hinted at this, was definitely Luciano. I mean, it's just
I liked him.
I didn't think he offered much going forward for us at all, and maybe that's just the kind of game we were playing into, just along the back, passing back and forth along the back, and his crossing just didn't seem good.
Yeah, the crossing was bad.
And so I don't know. It was just kind of disappointing. I was hoping he could offer some threats from that right back slot, but oh well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can move on.
And then it's been a while. Oh, actually, let me pull it up on our second screen because we got some good technology there. Let me close this. Little technical issues. It's fine, everyone. Getting back to it.
It's just we have so many supercomputers working. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to
it's
identify.
Hard to get everything at once. It's not like anyone's listening right now, anyways. We have the return. He's been gone for a little bit, but the return of the GOAT. $_Bills17. What's up, James?
Bow down to the GOAT.
Yeah, let's put our faces that no one can see here. $$Bills17. What place do you expect us to finish in the West? I'll let you go first.
I mean, honestly, I don't think we'll be able to hold our spot in the top half of the conference. I think that's probably a little unrealistic. I think that we'll probably end up in the 6th, 7th, or 8th slot. I think that we'll qualify for the playoffs again. I would be very disappointed if we didn't qualify for the playoffs. I think we've seen an improvement from last season, and I hope that we'll be able to, really get into the playoffs convincingly. I don't want to see us fighting at the end for another
after a big loss streak.
I don't want to see us fighting for a last-second playoff berth. We're better than that this season. I think that we can really convincingly earn a spot, and I think that probably that bottom half of the table, like in the conference, is where we'll fill in at.
I think we have the potential for a second or third place finish. I think we have the potential for it.
Oh my God!
We
what?
hold on. I think in the coming weeks we're gonna pray for an 8th place, and some people will think we'll be between 8 and 10. I think a realistic goal and where we will finish is somewhere between 4 and 6.
I mean,
if we wake up after this week and we get a big streak, I can see us getting like 4th. But I can see us going on a good streak after some good losses and somehow manage a 6th. But
see, the problem I have with the Quakes right now is that the only reason we were so up high in the table is because we had one good win and then our other win with Wando's 2 goals.
Oh, yeah.
Those were so lucky in the last few minutes, and it just doesn't seem like we'd have the quality against top teams. Mm-hmm. It's really disappointing when we are just going into this stretch of 2 games against top teams, and we're like, okay, this is our test. This is what really makes you think, okay, we could keep our place as second in the table, and it's just we get blown out, outperformed. And
I will say what I'm seeing from us is if we do make the playoffs, I think we could be a dark horse. And I think if we just like get in a hot streak right as playoff starts, it's gonna be real hard for teams to stop us. And we have that fight in us. Like I said, 5 of our 10 goals are from the final 15 minutes. So like just getting to the playoffs though, that will be the challenge. But we have good squad rotation. We have more depth this year. It looks like we're a bit more competent.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun season, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be very surprised if we didn't perform well in the last bit of the season. Usually we do manage to squeak it out at the end and qualify. I'm looking forward to these next few games, and hopefully we can bounce back.
Yep.